Not surprisingly, they're death related. But they go back a ways. Now, this first one I wrote when I was in college. In fact, it's dated September 9th, 1971, under the influence of all the medieval ballads and ghost stories I was reading. It's called, it's called The Phantom Rider. Yeah. At midnight, he rides the hills and gullies, and the rills and the ruts and the plains on the road, on the way to the house of his love, are to him the palm of his hand. But he does not know what awaits him is the fight and the death, and rides across the endless landscape in the land where no rest abides. A soulless flash of shadow beneath a hateful moon, forever pursuing a faithless love beneath a fatal moon. And that was September 9th, 1971. Okay, then May 30th, 1978. By this time I was in Bamako, Mali, in Africa. And for some reason, I decided to write a poem about when I was working at a funeral home in Madison. So, which was Grouchy's funeral home at that time. It's called The Undertaker's Apprentice. Oh, I didn't know that we were going to somebody's house. I thought it was just a hospital run. Let me put on a coat and at least a clip-on tie. The old undertaker almost stops me, but evidently he decides, why not? I go to my locker, and when I come back outside, the station wagon is already violating the night with its hiss and roar. A spring night, not long after 3 a.m. We have not far to go. We know, both of us, that few, if any others in this city, prowl these spring-slicked streets with such purpose. Beneath these polite suburban oaks, maples, and dying elms. Remember dying elms? Even at night, nature's evolutionary side is no secret. On we go, through green curving tunnels, past darkened bedrooms. No all-night parties in this quarter. Here, where the houses are younger than the inhabitants. Most of them hit their stride under FDR, and so we are now taking them away, one by one by one, for the big scythe. What must he think, this old man next to me? I believe he vaguely knows this man. It must be harder at his age, or at least an undertaker has no illusions, or he shouldn't have at least. This must be the place. We pull in. The doctor is still there. A couple of other cars. Maybe children. This could be hard. I'm glad I'm not the old man. I'm just a shadow. The onus is on him. I'm just a shadow in a sports coat and a clip-on tie, here to carry the heavy end. But mainly it is his problem. But someday it will be mine. Soon this pain, this contained, tolerable but growing pain, will be all mine, mine alone. The men I work under all have it. The young ones not so much, not yet, but the old ones. They've had to make all kinds of deals with their hearts and heads in order to live with it. I can see it in them. But why should it be that way? It's only life, only one aspect of life. We unload the cot and wheel it along a flagstone walk. Perhaps the man laid these stones himself on weekends. The old man with me must try not to think such things at these times. But if this is only life, why must we let it hurt so? And then here is a poem about Africa, which I wrote in Louisville, Kentucky. Upon watching my students getting beaten up and killed by the forces of Malian law and order, they committed the crime of dissent in a land of la politesse, where the latter is expected from only those out of power, and the former is expected not at all. Two harmless-looking East German-built army trucks round the rond-point, and I at first take for overreaction and typical youthful folly the fear and scattering movements among the crowd that had done no more than mill and mumble without so much as a sign or flag dealing with their student strike. But something in the air told me to get out of the way and move into the U.S.-built library with the big windows and watch. The trucks had stopped, and out came rifle-carrying soldiers who knew their work and who clearly hated the future teachers, politicos, merchants that they went to work on. Unlucky students got stomped, sometimes 5-1. Lucky students fled. Impassive washerwomen, fishermen, laborers walked past with eyes down. Grinning gunmen shouted, "Sogo, sogo, sogo," which means meat, meat, meat. None of the teachers did anything or said anything. It was printed in no Western papers. It survives in memory, memories that will not go away, such as a lovely young girl kicked in the spine by a Russian-made army boot. Her arms reach up to the sky, then she crumples like a sack, and soldiers drag her by her arms to the truck and toss her in. The word on the street was that 7 died there that day. Was she one of them? I'll never know, nor do I even want to know. Now you can brood on it for the rest of your life too. And probably one more, and this is dedicated to one of my former teachers, who's now deceased, who died in a nursing home a couple blocks from the state capitol during the big demonstrations they had there a few years ago. It's called An Old Madison Radical Dies a Block from the Capitol. From my bed of pain, I hear the protesters up the street, and I yearn to join them but can't. These days, a trip to the toilet requires a nurse and a nurse's aide. So I listen to the drums and shouts and songs. I catch an occasional glimpse through the window of red-shirted protesters, an avalanche rolling up Capitol Hill. Will the rich and powerful fall before this righteous wrath? I don't know. Did my years of activism help push the boulder of Sisyphus up the hill? I don't know that either. But I do know that humanity was born to share and to fight, and it's better to fight for the workers than for their bosses. And it's better to share the goods than to hoard them. And if this be my deathbed, I know I will die hearing the drums of liberty gather for the march up the hill of tomorrow.